Am I really gonna do this?
Do what? Am I really going to talk about this? I mean, I love theme parks. I started this show to showcase my love of this artistic medium and the joy it can bring. I want to attack anything in this place. I love this place. Is this really necessary? You promised your audience you would. Did you not?
Yeah, I did, but they'll understand. I don't want to delve into that kind of darkness and hatred that negativity can lead to, you know?
But Tendo, one cannot remain ignorant in the light forever. The world is not all smiles and rainbows. If you wish to address the darkness and truly show the world the light of joy this place can bring, then the darkness must be faced.
Can't someone else do it?
Get in there and face that ride, Seal.
You're right. I've been putting this off for too long. Thank you.
Remember, Tendo, only you can face the darkness within. Step forth, face it, and let the darkness face the light.
You got it. Let's go. All right. Time to take this thing down.
Ladies, gentlemen, Indies, this is it. The big one. Our most hated ride in all of Disney. I'm not kidding, folks. This is the one ride that I don't just want changed. I don't want it fixed to address its issues. I want this shit to be no more. I want it to cease to be. I want it to expire and meet its makers. I want it stiff, bereft of life, to rest in peace. I want it pushing up daisies. I want its technological processes to be history. I want it off the twig, to kick the bucket, to shuffle off the mortal coil, to run down the corridor and join the goddamn choir invisible. This should be an X-Ride. Now with that established, allow me to do my part in making that happen by verbally tearing this shit apart. So, to get started, let's go over this thing's history. The original version of this attraction, the submarine journey through liquid space, opened in 1959, designed as a replacement for a rather unreliable opening day attraction known as the Phantom Boats, technically making this the first ever ride replacement in the history of Disneyland.
You see, ride replacements are basically as old as this park. Been going on for years. Maybe we should judge the new rides on their own merits as opposed to just what they used to be. I remember learning that lesson well.
For years, the ride was themed to the 1954 Disney film 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, remaining a so-called classic among the Disney pantheon. However, despite that status, Disney did sometimes feel the need to do some odd marketing tactics for the attraction, including hiring scantily clad female cast members dressed as mermaids to get the attention of guests from the lagoon.
Because after all, only the best products are sold using sex appeal instead of their actual quality.
But needless to say, that promotion didn't even last a full year before being abandoned due to issues with both cast member and guest safety, and the ride itself was shut down in the 90s due to
the government!
You see, in 1990, President George Bush I signed into law the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA for short, mandating some kind of access for guests with disabilities, and the loading system of the subs wasn't exactly designed to accommodate for the new standards. Now, the law did allow for exceptions when it came to developments from before it was signed, allowing the ride to stay open for another 7 years. But it meant that they couldn't shut down the ride for refurbishment, as reopening it after closure, even temporarily, would result in them needing to alter the ride to comply with the law, something this ride system really wasn't capable of. Naturally, remaining open all the time without cleanup resulted in some of the ride's effects and scenes falling into disrepair, leaving it rather unpopular with guests, causing this thing to finally get the sweet release of death.
Or so we thought!
For you see, in the dark year of 2007, Disney revived this monster from its grave, adding in a new story and effects to theme it to the Pixar film Finding Nemo.
And how do they address the ADA? Oh, they had a solution for that.
They added an alternative experience inside a special sealed-off room for them exclusively, giving those who couldn't handle the ride stairways their own way to enjoy this attraction.
Why did I go into all that history? Well, I just want to establish one thing before I go any further. My issues with this ride have zilch to do with what it's themed to.
The original ride may have closed when I was only 2 years old, but I get the feeling that I wouldn't have enjoyed it either. So don't blame what I'm about to say on bias for what a replaced or hatred for the theme, because...
Look, I'll just say it straight. I like Finding Nemo. I really do. I know it's not controversial or anything. It's a beloved film, so... yeah, that's not where my problems stem from. So, where do they stem from? Where do I start?
Well, to start with, this attraction is the most expensive ride on property to run on a daily basis. This is mainly due to the water bills and the insane maintenance costs due to the ride's features being underwater, especially since nightly inspections have been done with fricking scuba gear to pull them off.
So not only is it an expensive drain on Disney, but also very poorly placed given the choice of park it's in.
I mean, this ride is in California, a state infamous for long droughts and water shortages. And this is just a large, flat body of water containing this ride, which despite Disney reusing and filtering whatever water they can, it loses more daily to evaporation than any other water ride in the resort, due to the fact that it's a pool as opposed to a flowing river like the others. So already it's a bad thing that this ride is here on both an economic and environmental level. Wonderful. And that's before we even get into the actual experience. Speaking of which, let's return to our standard format, shall we? We start off with what is easily the lamest queue in this whole resort.
Let me explain.
Even compared to the many queues with minimal theming of other rides, this thing is a boring eyesore. Think about it. At least with the queues, the Fantasyland rides are pretty minimal due to their spatial constraints. They're in freaking Fantasyland, a fun, unique environment with detail to explore at every angle. Here though, even though the lagoon is quite nice to look at, they pull you away from the views of it in Tomorrowland to stare up at a pipe. Just a pipe.
How exciting.
Yes, I'm aware of the spatial limitations, but you have a giant open hole facing Autopia you could do something with, anything. No, just keep staring at the pipe, you little brats.
And the sad thing is, we know from experience that Disney can do well with a submarine base. Why? Because they already did it in Tokyo!
You see, back in 2017, I made a trip to Japan where I visited Disney Sea. And inside of this wildly celebrated park was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, an undersea themed ride with a very similar idea for its queue to the Nemo Voyages. Only it's done so much better, with all the details and interactive designs that tell a story in their own right. But instead we get, how do they say it again? A pipe. Just a pipe.
So yeah, on a queue level, this ride fails! Big fat fail! At least other rides that are restricted in their queues due to size limitations, well, they don't take you away from the interesting scenery nearby. But this, easily the worst. No contest.
Eventually, after wading through that boring slog, we head down into our little yellow submarine.
No, 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 no! Stop this! Stop this now! The Beatles deserve more respect than be tied to this crap! Get out of here! Ugh.
And thus we climb into the number one problem that ruins this ride.
The ride system itself.
You see, these submarines are designed to fit 40 guests and a helmsman at the same time, in a space that's only 52 feet long. Now the subs do double up so that it's split between people facing both sides, but that's still only 2.6 feet of space per person to exist in. It's actually even worse, as that 52-foot length doesn't take into account the stairs or the front and back of the ship, meaning it's even less space than that.
I thought it was the fish who tried to cram into cans, not the people.
So already, just on a starting basis, be prepared to be uncomfortable during the duration of this little voyage.
But come on, it's a theme park ride. They don't last that long. Sure, you'll be uncomfortable for a little bit, but just move on. It'll be okay. It's only 13 minutes! Ugh.
Yeah, 13 minutes of sitting in this can. That's longer than the likes of Splash Mountain, Indiana Jones, and even Jungle Cruise. This thing really takes its damn time. And that's not accounting for the fact that this thing loads and unloads slowly due to its high capacity, making riders wait a long-ass time to get on and off this piece of crap.
Oh, sorry. I come here occasionally when my rage gets to me. Let me have a minute.
So, after waiting forever and a week for the damn sub to get moving, we sail out of the dock and begin diving deeper into the oceans into the Great Barrier Reef, and insert an immediate problem. You see, this vehicle isn't so much a submarine like it claims, as it is a deep boat where the guests are sitting in the undersection. This means that at all times, the boat is just under the surface, so no matter where you look at this thing, at least peripherally, you can see the surface of the water above you, killing any immersion in the idea that you're going deeper into the ocean as things progress.
You see, I wasn't kidding when I said the ride system was the problem here. Because when they decided to use these submarines, that choice was the thing that caused this whole ride to fall apart like a stack of dominoes.
Anyway, we dive out into the Great Barrier Reef, which admittedly is pretty nice scenery, even hiding a few neat Easter eggs and animatronics if you try to look for them.
Yeah, that's the thing about Disney. Even their worst ride has positive qualities. The detail and work that went into building these visuals is quite awesome, gotta say.
Look, you can even see a little girl from the movie diving out in the ocean, completely unsupervised.
Okay, that's just negligent parenting. Where are this girl's parents? Seriously, where are this girl's parents? I want to have a word. She don't deserve this crap.
After a while of seeing this wide area displayed, we go deeper into the depths, where the captain turns on the fish translator.
Let's try out this amazing new technology, huh? Help me. That was a bad idea. Now I'm gonna feel sad as I eat this thing.
So, after the eels in the walls jump scare all the children, we move on into the main selling point of the modern version of this attraction, the underwater projections.
And to once again be fair, they still hold up.
On a pure visual level, these projections work well to showcase these characters in their world. They do work quite well as a visual.
Where they fall apart is, once again, the ride system.
You see, due to the long length and segmented viewing ports of the subs, only select few can see these visuals at a time, but the full audio is played so that the riders can infer what's going on. This leaves a lot of empty space just hearing characters' dialogue, expecting your imagination to do the rest, with the small little bit of visual as you pass by.
And that idea is completely antithetical to the strengths of this artistic medium.
Theme park rides are about visuals, the small little details that add to a world and make it work. If you want a story told you auditorily, go listen to a podcast or an audiobook. But in the medium of theme park attractions, this kind of limited visual expression is a quality death sentence. But why would you want to kill it?
I'm trying to do a video here. You mind? But why gotta be mean to the fishies, huh? They're cute. Look, if you want a cute fish, just go across the way. There's a much better ride with a much more well thought out ride system. Just have fun over there. You'll get a better experience out of it. Okay. Well, that was weird. Anyway.
So we see Nemo's school, the class expositing that Nemo's gone missing again, alongside his new friend Squirt the sea turtle.
Okay, so if they should declare that Mr. Ray is the worst teacher ever. This kid is a known flight risk. Why isn't he paying attention more? Ugh. I'm complaining to the principal.
Powerful flow of East Australian current is like an undersea highway. Many creatures can be found commuting in this current, including the majestic sea turtle.
Or only sea turtles, as both here and in the film, they're the only creatures we see in this current. Unless... Crush, is that something you're not telling us?
Oh, like, what you getting at, dude?
You gentrified the EAC, didn't you?
Like, that's a bogus accusation, man.
Who are the other creatures here, huh? All I see is a bunch of turtles as far as the eye can see.
Look, it's not my fault the others couldn't stay. We must secure the existence of our species and a future for sea turtle hatchlings, man.
I don't want you on my show anymore. Get out.
Whatever, brah.
Note to self, stay away from turtle talk.
Censorship!
So after moving out of Pleasant Current, we head into the sunken ship, where we encounter the sharks in the movie, Anchor, Bruce, and Chum. Otherwise known as the Alphabet Sharks. Or at least they should be.
Don't worry, I'm not going to eat you, at least not all at once.
No, Bruce, remember the pledge!
Right then. I am a nice shark, not a mindless eating machine. People are friends, not food.
Can't eat fish, can't eat people, what can you eat? Your shark's going to come with some kind of compromise if you're not going to starve, you know? So we ride out into an aquatic minefield, only for one of them to get activated, blowing us all to hell, where we pass by a dragon and emerge back into Toad Hall to exit. Hold up. I think I got confused there. Back it up. So we activate the water mine, everything goes black, before sinking us down to the depths, where a bunch of tiny lights await us. Oh, my bad. I mistook this thing for a good ride. So, as I was saying, we move through the lights, the tension slowly building up until... Okay, this is a perfect example of what I was talking about and how this ride system completely wrecks this attraction. Something like this should be a big, dumb jump scare. That's what it's designed to be. But because the audio is universal, but the timing is off due to everyone seeing things at different times, it completely wrecks the flow and messes up the whole thing. These long-ass aquabuses fucked up this whole system. And how do I know it's the ride system's fault and not just poor design? Well, take a look at Florida. Bear with me on this. You see, down at Epcot, they have a semi-clone of this attraction, telling the same narrative with the same characters. The difference there being it's an Omni-Mover dark ride, and this scene is so much better there. Not only does the lack of needing to account for things underwater allow for so much more dynamic setups and visuals, but the audio syncs perfectly and showcases things well so that everyone, no matter where they're sitting, gets a perfect experience. That right there is my fundamental issue with this ride. It wasn't designed to incorporate its ride system to make the attraction better, but every other element needs to compensate itself for the worse. And the ride system itself they're doing all this for sucks in its own right, so it's not even worth it. You know what? Screw format. You don't need to hear the rest of this ride's narrative. It's basically a recap of the movie scenes anyway, like it has been. Watch! Jellyfish, water volcano, just a real one this time. Pinocchio ripoff, end of ride. There, done. And the sad thing is, the ride system that breaks this thing, it isn't even necessary for its theme. If you want a decent underwater exploration ride, once again, like I said when talking about the queue, just look at Tokyo. You see, you remember that 20,000 Leagues ride at Disney Sea I mentioned earlier? Not only is the queue a big improvement, but the ride itself is so much better designed, being a hanging dark ride similar to Peter Pan, just surrounded in a water tank to create the illusion of underwater exploration. This design allows it to be just as compact as a normal dark ride, meaning that everyone gets a good amount of visuals at the same time without issue. I've ridden it myself, and it's actually really damn good. Heck, they even have a damn good Nemo ride. It says that there is a Star Tour style simulator, and that's wonderful too. So basically, it's a horrible ride that's utterly destroyed by its ride system, is an economic drain on the company they don't need, and hurts the environment in a similar level to the horrible car ride right next to it. This thing, on every level, would be better off if it weren't here. And with that said, I'd like to introduce a new series to the channel. Welcome to Aqua Imagineering, where I, Tendo the Seal, express my thoughts about potential good additions and changes that could be made to the parks. Think like David Gandel's Armchair Imagineering, except I'm the one doing it. So in this segment, we'll be giving ideas for potential replacements for the Finidng Nemo Submarine Voyage.
Well, when you look at the area taken up by a lagoon, the remaining Phantom Boat canals, and Autopia, that gives us quite a bit of space to work with. Enough even for the potential Pandora expansion that's recently been discussed if they delve into the backstage area a bit. But I do feel like having both Pandora and Star Wars in the same park can be a bit redundant, so let's get some more open ideas. Given this area is kind of in the intersection between Tomorrowland and Fantasyland, I could see a good split down the middle, adding onto the footprint for both lands. For Fantasyland, that one's obvious, especially given the close proximity to Matterhorn. Frozen expansion! I could see a good-sized Frozen Dark ride in the style of the other Fantasyland attractions, finding a good home down here in a surrounding Arendelle section of the land. As for Tomorrowland, there really is only one option in my opinion.
No, sorry, but no. While I love Stitch, the aesthetics of that franchise really fit better in a more tropical environment than a futuristic one to me. That's one of the many reasons Stitch's Great Escape didn't belong where they put it in Florida. Instead, what would my recommendation be?
Yeah, now we're talking. I swear, has Disney ever had a time travel ride besides arguably Dinosaur? Because this is your chance to have some fun, Disney.
Now, what ride system would go well for this movie?
Well, I wouldn't say a full-on one-screen simulator, as that would cause a bit too many Back to the Future comparisons for my liking. No, for this one, I'm suggesting a dark ride simulator hybrid similar to Transformers or Spider-Man over the competition, with each screen being a new time period, heading through physical time travel tunnels between each. It would be awesome!
Naturally, I relinquish all rights to the concepts discussed in this segment to the Disney company if they actually decide to build this, and really show just how useful that large space can be if used effectively. And, now that I've thoroughly showcased the problems of this attraction to the masses, I feel the need to sing to the death of this sea beast. There you see it, sitting there in the way. It's something simple to say, but there's something you can do. Because we now know why this thing must frickin' die. We need to kill the ride. Yes, we need to. We all know what we should do. Flush those fishies down the loo. The future awaits you. Please, Mick, just give the word. Just frickin' can this turd. We need to kill the ride. Sing with me now. Sha-la-la-la, let the fishies die. Serve them all up with fries. We gotta kill the ride. Sha-la-la-la-la, it's frickin' bad. It makes us all so mad. If you will after miss the ride. Why delay it? It's an expensive burden too. Come on, let's execute it soon. No time would be better. Send the subs away and we will cheer that day. Just go and kill the ride. Sha-la-la-la-la-la, let them sink. Please just frickin' think. Go on and kill the ride. Sha-la-la-la-la-la, stop it now. Give them their final bow. Go on and kill the ride. Whoa, whoa! Sha-la-la-la-la-la, go along and listen to this song. This song says, kill the ride. Whoa, whoa! Sha-la-la-la-la, the music plays. Do as the music says. You gotta kill the ride. You've got to kill the ride. You've got to kill the ride. Don't you want to kill the ride? Go on and kill the ride. Ah, there we go. Another video complete. Now I can just talk about the things I enjoy in this park without the scale being so wonky. Damn it! I forgot to say like, comment, subscribe. Ugh. Hopefully people still do regardless. Oh well. What's this? What the hell have I just found?